think back many, many years ago. You're scrolling through Instagram, maybe even Reddit. What's this hashtag? What is this Roland special people keep talking about? And you start doing your research. KKM barrel and comp and Glock 19. That's crazy talk. And then you look at the comments. No. You can use Glock 34 holsters. It's really not that big. The grip is compact and comps are so good and this and that. Well, I'm here to dispel some myths, do some research, some bro science, if you will. When all that was going on, I always had this question. People were doing, all these crazy things to Glock 19s, comping them, putting these giant X300s on them, mag wells, this and that. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. At what point do you just get a Glock 34? Is it really worth doing all this extra work for a comp when you could just get a Glock 34 and put the slide on a Glock 19 frame? Are you really getting that much for like your average person? So I've had that in my mind for a long time, and now I'm in a position where I have a 5-inch M&P and a standard M&P with the Harrington Arms Universal Comp, and I decided to put the two to the test. Caveat, the Harrington's Arms Compensator is going to be probably 10 to 20% less effective than those big custom comps, but it was enough for me to want to take a look. So what I did was I bought Spear Gold Dot. I bought 115, 124 grain, 147 grain, 124 plus P, and then I bought Buffalo Bore 124 grain plus P plus. And the reason I bought that is for the variety of muzzle velocities. It was a pretty linear step up along the way. The bro science, right? More gas, more worky. So I bought all those, and then what I did was I put these two slides on the same frame and went to the range and tried to measure as best I could. And just to make sure no one thinks I'm cheating, I got the scale out. This is the comp slide, and we got 21.8 ounces. When we set that aside, we take the 5-inch slide with the different dot, 22.1, around the same. These also have tungsten guide rods. When I did this test, I put the factory guide rods in, and I got almost the exact same weight on each slide. So what I did was I took my tactical frame, because this was going to be the heaviest of the two, and I wanted to show the slides doing the work as opposed to anything else. And that's what made sense in my head. I don't know if I'm right or not, but we got 12.6, and then the one I used for competition is only 8 ounces. So we got more weight on this guy, so it should theoretically not be as drastic. I don't know what my thought process was. I just decided to use this one because it's the softest, and the first thing I did was put the 5-inch on, and I shot those super cool bullets. And then I recorded all that, and then the same range trip, I put the same slide on with the comp, and then I ran that. And that's how I tested. Is this perfectly scientific? No. Is this gonna get you any real results in terms of having a direct conclusion? No. But I do have enough experience so I could kind of give you my 2 cents on it. And what I'll do is I'll run in the footage of the rounds being fired, and then the other thing I did, aside from looking at that, is when the gun recoiled, I tried to, and I know you're not supposed to do this, I just did it for the sake of the test, tracked how high on the target the red dot went. So I'll show you that picture as well. And what I would do is I'd take a little sticker and put approximately where the red dot was going. So let's take a look at all that, and we'll meet back here. So what I could tell from all of that testing, and you could tell me what you saw in the comments if you disagree with what I have to say or agree with what I have to say. With the Harrington's Arm Universal comp, what it broke down to my eyes, is the hot stuff in this felt like the medium stuff in this. It essentially took all the ammo and dropped it down a tier as opposed to the long slide. Now, the little more nuanced thing, and you might be able to tell this from the target, but this from the shooter's perspective, what I could tell is 124 grain and lower, and then especially if you're going to use like light competition loads, like you're not going to tell a difference with the long slide versus the comp. The less muzzle velocity it has, the less you're going to notice it between the two. And then it kind of ramps up the higher up you go. Like the biggest difference for me was, I'm trying to go off memory here, so bear with me. I believe the standard 147 grain was like a pretty stark difference between these two. Like it was activating the comp well enough, and this was just snappy enough. They're like, oh, there's a difference here. And then once I got to the plus P124, it's like, well, it still kind of sucks to shoot it even with the comp, and even doubly so with the buffalo bore. So there is a sweet spot for both of these, so keep that in mind. A lot of this is going to boil down to what type of ammo you're going to use. If you're your normal average Joe shooter and you just want to squeak out a little bit of extra recoil control, just a longer slide is fine. Like until you get into the hotter stuff, this is really not that much of a difference. Now, if your gun has a threaded barrel and you don't want to buy a long slide, then yes, putting a universal comp on it is going to bring it down to, these are going to be essentially the same with low power factor ammo. Now, if you're building a gun out specifically to run hot ammo, and if you watch the video of Chuck Pressburg explain the Roland Special, it was specifically designed for hot ass NATO 9mm. So if you're building something like that, yes, a comp is going to work, and it's going to be the comp's going to be working its ass off, and it is going to be the best choice for the hot stuff. Monkey wrench in all this is porting. What you could do is get a long slide gun and then have somebody cut ports in it, and that would probably get you the best of both worlds. In fact, I think Micah Mayfield put out a video that pretty much, to me, it showed that ports were better. So there is something to it. It seems like ports would be the best bet in terms of like complicated and what you're getting out of it versus what you're putting in. And then it would be comp, and then it would be long slide. With hot ammo, you're getting the most out of ports, then you're getting a pretty good amount out of comps, and you're not really getting much out of the long slide. But if you're shooting light ammo, I personally have not used a ported gun, so I'm only speculating here, but I believe even with light ammo, ports work a little bit better, and then it goes long slide, and then it goes comp. But I'm not 100%. In terms of these two, the two I'm presenting you with, comp for hot ammo, long slide for light ammo. That's my understanding. Again, if you have any experience or you saw something different in the footage, go ahead and let me know. But that's the quick one for today.